Hollywood celebrities are being arrested, college administrators and coaches are being charged, and the nation is learning of one of the biggest college bribery scams ever. We'll go over all the details, plus Dick's Sporting Goods is out there showing more of its progressive roots by going after even more guns, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez gets 3 Pinocchios from the Washington Post. We'll go over all of it. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
God bless the United States of America.
Okay, the big story. Let's jump right into it. We've got this college bribery scam that has got a little bit of everything. It's got Hollywood celebrities. It's got college coaches and administrators taking bribes. It's got people faking SAT tests, all to get their kids into prestigious schools that I guess they couldn't get into otherwise. This story is, there's more coming out every day, and I want to get into the details of it. And let's start with the guy behind the whole scam. His name is William Rick Singer. He runs a website called The Key, which is designed to help prepare kids for college. And let's take a look at the front page of his website, because based on what's gone down now, it's really interesting to what they have to say on the site. So here, take a look. All right. It starts with their big slogan: get the college admission help that you need. Let the Key unlock the full potential of your son or daughter. Oh yeah, full potential with the right price tag. We partner with your son or daughter to identify their strengths, unlock their potential, choose the right college, position themselves for admission, and outline a course of study and extracurricular experiences to lead to a life of success. Okay, that's what they say. But what Singer was really doing was he had this elaborate network, allegedly, of it's 2 prongs on how they were basically cheating the system. On the one hand, he'd work with parents, charge them big fees, and we'll get into some of that, to basically fake SAT scores. He'd have people either take the test for the student instead of the actual student themselves, or alter the scores after the test was taken. And we'll look at some of those details. So that's one side of it, just flat out cheating on college admission scores. The other part is that he saw an inside track to getting some of these kids admitted to college, and that is by them being student athletes. So he'd work with certain coaches and athletic directors or whatever at the actual colleges, have them fake the proper paperwork or whatever to have this student considered a student athlete, and then the admission process is a whole lot easier, even though the student never played that particular sport or maybe any sport. But that didn't help it. It didn't matter if the price was right. So let's take a look at some of the details. CNN has a lot of information actually on their website. A lot of the sites do, but they really have dove into it, and it's really good. So let's kind of look at what they're showing and what's going on. First, with the list of charges. The charges so far, as far as the people are grabbing, include the following: 2 SAT, ACT administrators, 1 exam proctor, 9 coaches at elite schools, 1 college administrator, and 33 parents. So the parents, those that are charged, are who's who of celebrity and power, CEOs, big law firm people, actors, and things like that. So let's kind of dive in to the CNN report so you can see how this is all going down. All right. The parents, Lelling said, who's the U.S. attorney for Massachusetts district, I believe, were a catalog of wealth and privilege, including actors, CEOs, a fashion designer, and the co-chairman of a global law firm. The case is about the widening corruption of elite college admissions through the steady application of wealth combined with fraud, Lelling said. There can be no separate college admission systems for the wealthy, and I'll add there will not be a separate criminal justice system either. He added, for every student admitted through fraud, an honest, genuinely talented student was rejected. And I love that line because, it's a different topic, but the whole idea of, skewed administration's, criteria for, minorities or anyone else is just flat out wrong. Here it's wealth and bribery and corruption, that's getting students in. The students should be admitted on merit, and if they can't get in on merit, go somewhere else and work your way up. But he nails it right there. So the justice system hopefully will turn a blind eye to who's actually being charged and just deal with the law. But let's dive in to more of what CNN has to say. So two actresses in particular that are at the heart of this case, because they represent, both ends of this, are Felicity Huffman from Desperate Housewives and Lori Loughlin who used to be in Full House, Aunt Becky. So let's dive into what CNN says. Huffman, an Academy Award nominee, has been charged with felony conspiracy to commit mail fraud and honest services mail fraud, according to the court paperwork filed Monday in federal court in Massachusetts. She was arrested without incident at her home, the FBI said. Best known for her role as TV's Desperate Housewives, Huffman is accused of paying $15,000 to Singer's fake charity, the Key Worldwide Foundation, to facilitate cheating for her daughter on the SATs, the complaint says. A cooperating witness told authorities he traveled from Tampa to West Hollywood Test Center to administer Huffman's daughter's exam. She received a 1420 on her test, which was 400 points higher than her PSAT taken a year earlier without the same administrator, the complaint states. So that's the one side, just flat out cheating, knowing what's going on. And again, these parents weren't duped. They didn't pay for some services of college prep and get something else. They knew allegedly what was going on and participated in it. And here, $15,000 to basically fake the test. So on the Lori Loughlin side, that had to do with more of the college and the coaches and that whole scheme. And here's what CNN reports. Loughlin, who played Aunt Becky on Full House, is facing the same felony charge, conspiracy to commit mail fraud and honest services mail fraud. Her husband, fashion designer Massimo Giannulli, was also charged with conspiracy to commit mail fraud and honest services fraud. Giannulli and Loughlin allegedly agreed to pay bribes totaling $500,000 in exchange for having their two daughters designated as recruits to the USC crew team, even though they did not participate in crew, the complaint said. So, that is just, it's already $500,000 to fake their student athlete status in order to get into USC. On the coaches' side, it's pretty interesting because there's a number of coaches at elite schools that have been charged in the complaint, and the Daily Mail lists a couple of them, and I just wanted to go over that so you could see the magnitude of what's going on here. So this is according to the Daily Mail. Gordon Ernst, who was the tennis instructor, by the way, for Michelle Obama and her daughters, but also served as a tennis coach for Georgetown University, allegedly received bribes totaling more than $2.7 million to pass off Georgetown applicants as tennis recruits. Rudy Meredith, former head coach of Yale University's soccer team, allegedly accepted $400,000 to help get a teen into Yale on a soccer scholarship. So this story is just exploding. Like I said, it's got everything, and we're definitely going to do a follow-up because there's emails coming out from the complaint already that show some of the interactions between Singer and some of these Hollywood celebrities, and we'll definitely follow up. But I just wanted you to know that this story represents everything that's bad in America as far as buying your way in, and it goes even worse than that as far as cheating, bribery, and just it's just law breaking, blatant law breaking if these are true. And we'll just have to see how it goes. So, all right, I want to move on to story number 2, and that is Dick's Sporting Goods, because as you recall, when some of these, the assault weapons bans and things like that were really in the news, they decided to step forward and say, we're going to stop selling guns. They did it in a few of their stores as a test case, just eliminated all guns, ammunition, and everything. And now they want to raise that number to 125 stores out of the 700 that they currently have open. So here's what the Daily Caller reports on Dick's Sporting Goods. The retail outlet, which tested the idea of removing guns entirely from its stock in 10 of its stores in 2018, will expand that concept and use the space in those stores to sell what it considers faster selling, higher margin items like outdoor recreation equipment and licensed sports gear, according to the Wall Street Journal. Sales have declined steadily of late, down 3.1% for fiscal year end February 2nd. since CEO Ed Stack's decision to implement anti-gun measures such as exclusion of under 21 buyers and the elimination of so-called assault-style weapons and high-capacity magazines. And Stack has acknowledged those decisions as a key factor. So for me, living in Texas, I'm just going to go to Academy. I can get my sports stuff, I can get my workout clothes, and I can get ammunition for my guns. So that's the place to be. But it just shows that, Dick's is kind of leading the way on the progressive side as far as, doing their part to remove guns from stores from law-abiding citizens. And it's just funny that in one of their statements, they said that they're going to target on places where hunting isn't as popular. As again, that's one of the things about the left is, you don't need that gun for hunting. The Second Amendment isn't about hunting. It's about protection. And it's about protection not only from bad guys entering your house, but a runaway tyrannical government. That's what it's about. It has nothing to do with hunting and fishing and being a sportsman. And Dick's Sporting Goods once again shows that it just does not get it. So next, I guess it can't be a show in today's times if I don't talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, because she continues to do and say things that just defy reason. They defy logic. And she's added again, and this time even the Washington Post acknowledged with their kind of fact-checking organization, they've given her 3 Pinocchios for her latest incident. And it goes back to a tweet, some statements she made in Congress during a hearing, and also a tweet that she put out the other day. And here's her tweet. She says, "Amount President Trump has transferred from other agencies to fund his Build the Wall emergency, tens of millions, and has identified billions more. Amount he's transferred to address the opioid national emergency, $0. All right, she includes a post from C-SPAN in which she is quoted as saying, "So we've got 2 emergencies. One is treated with actual action, and the other is just to raise awareness." All right, well, here's the problem. She's either dumb or she's just playing to the cameras and playing to the left. Because as the Washington Post pointed out when they had gave her these 3 Pinocchio awards, she's not only mixing apples and oranges, but she is slanting her statements to put President Trump in the worst light possible. Because here's what he did. He requested funds for the border wall, and as we all know, Congress did not deliver on what he requested. So now he needs to go elsewhere. He needs to find a different channel. He needs to, funnel money in from different means. And so that's what he's doing. For the opioid crisis, he requested money from Congress. They gave him money that he requested, $6 billion to fight the opioid crisis. So guess what? If Congress gives you the money, you don't need to fund it elsewhere. So he's funding elsewhere for the border wall because Congress didn't act. He's not, transferring funds for the opioid crisis because they did act. So yes, there's going to be a 0 as far as transferring of funds because he didn't need to. It's being addressed. Congress funded it to the tune of $6 billion, and the action's being done. Yet she relates the two as if they're the same kind of thing, action on one for border wall, inaction on opioid crisis, when she just flat out either doesn't know or doesn't care about what she's saying. But anyway, folks, that's the latest from her, 3 Pinocchios from the Washington Post. That's our show for today. Please subscribe. Please tell your friends. And please leave your comments below. I mean, there's a lot to talk about today with this college bribery scam, a lot to get into. So please let me know what you think. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-Minute News Hour.